Salam sejahtera. So today we are going to discuss about 4.3, the inverse matrix. So previously we have been talking about the minor, cofactor, adjoint, or we can say the C transpose. And then after that, we talk about the determinant. So today we're going to use the prime knowledge to continue the discussion for inverse matrix. So basically, it's just the formula, okay, for the inverse matrix. So number one, you must remember the determinant of the matrix. Let's say in here we have matrix P. The determinant for the matrix P must be not equals to 0. Because if it is equals to 0, automatically there won't be a inverse matrix. So kindly take note. So given P, we have the matrix P and the Q. Fine. We have A, which is P multiplied with the Q, followed by the determinant of P. Next, we have the minor of P, followed by the adjoint of P. Next, we have the P inverse. So let's begin with the A, which is P multiplied with the Q. So basically, what we have been discussed before in 4.1, how to multiply the matrix P and Q. So remember the order 3 by 3 multiply with the 3 by 3 and then make sure it match. So means that the product will be 3 by 3. So by using the calculator, you may key in the P, key in the Q, and we will obtain 3 by 3 matrix 3 0 0 0 3 0 0 0 3. If we simplify the situation, and we will have PQ is equals to 3 multiplied with the identity matrix. So normally we represent the identity matrix with the I. So we can say PQ is equals to 3I. So that is the conclusion we can have for the question A. Next, we are going to look at the determinant of P, followed by minor of P, and then the adjoint of P and the inverse of P. So based on the previous discussion, what I'm trying to say is do not follow the order. Because if you want to find the determinant, actually it's redundant with the minor, and then the adjoint of P also redundant with the minor. So my suggestion is find the P. Find the minor of P before we moving forward to the adjoint and also the determinant of P. So here we have the frame for the minor. Okay, so kindly take note, we have to prepare with the frame. So next, focus on the P. So in here, M11 means that we have to close or eliminate the row 1 and column 1. So we have negative 1, 0, 0, 3. Next, proceed with the 1, 2. So eliminate the 1 and the column 2. So we have 2, negative 3, 0, and 3. So kindly repeat the process of finding the minor. So you may try, and then after that, check your answer with mine. Okay, so proceed. So we have 1, 3, which is 1, negative 1, negative 3, 0. Next, we have so here we have the minor. So the process of mining the minor. So kindly check your answer with mine. Okay, so let's begin. So here we have negative 3 minus. So we have 6 minus, 0 minus, 6 minus, and then 6 minus, and then 0 minus 0 minus 0 minus negative 2 minus. Continue. So we will have 0. And after that, again, 0. Next, we have 3 followed by 0. Next, we have 9. Next, we have positive 6. Continue. 3. Next, we have positive 6. And then we have 4. So that is the process of finding the minor. So you may check your answer with mine. So in here, we have the minor. Negative 3, 6, negative 3, 6, negative 3, and then we have 6, negative 3, 6, negative 6. So that is what we call the minor. Next is to find the cofactor. So as we all know, in the cofactor, we have the formula. So do remember negative for 1, 2, and then 2, 1, and then 3, 2, and then 2, 3. So after you undergo the sign, we have the cofactor, where we have negative 3, negative 3, negative 3, negative 3, negative 6. So the rest, we have to multiply with the negative. So we have negative 6, negative 6, negative 6, negative 6. So here we have the cofactor, the minor. Next is to find the C transpose or the adjoint. So in here, C transpose is equal to the adjoint of the P. So C transpose or the adjoint would be, remember, transpose. The row for the cofactor become column. Next we have negative 3, negative 6, negative 3, followed by negative 6, negative 3, and then negative 6. Finally, negative 3, negative 6, negative 6. So repeat. Do remember, row become column. Row become column. Row become column. So that is the process of finding the adjoint of P. So refers to the situation, we already settled the PQ equals to 3i. The minor we have in here, and then the adjoint of P we have in here, C transpose. Next is to find the determinant of P. My suggestion is to select the second row. We have the formula A21 C21 plus A22 C22 plus A23 C23. The reason I'm selecting the second row because we have the 0. So the determinant of P is equal to A21, we have the 2, A22, we have the negative 1, and then A23, we have the 0. Next, focus on the C, which is the cofactor. C21, we have negative 6. C22, we have negative 3, and then plus 0. Multiply with anything, we can assume it is 0. So finally, simplify the situation. So P is equals to negative 12 plus with the 3. So the determinant for P is equals to negative 9. So do remember, no matter which column or which row you are selecting, the determinant will be always the same. So do remember, the meaning of determinant is that the meaning of determinant is not equals to the modulus of P. It is totally different. So indeterminate is just a number. So it can be positive and it can be negative. So the determinant does not mean it is a modulus of P. So kindly take note. So now we are going to discuss the P inverse. So basically the formula for P inverse or the inverse of P is equals to 1 over determinant of P multiplied with the adjoint of P. So that is the formula. So in here, the P inverse is equals to negative 1 over 9 multiplied with the C transpose, which is negative 3, negative 6, negative 3, negative 6, negative 3, negative 6, negative 3, negative 6, and negative 6. So do remember, simplify the situation. So we will have P inverse is equals to we have the bracket. Okay, so 1 over 3 and then 2 over 3, 1 over 3, 2 over 3, 1 over 3, 2 over 3, 1 over 3, 2 over 3, and 2 over 3. So that will be the inverse for the matrix P. So here we have the situation, and that is the process of finding the PQ, the determinant of P, the minor of P, the adjoint of P, and finally the inverse for the matrix P. So not necessary for us to follow the order. So we can adjust the situation, then find the best solution for us in order to answer the questions. So this process, we call it adjoint method. So meaning that we have to find the minor, cofactor, adjoint of P, or we can say the C transpose, and then finally find the inverse for the matrix P. So I repeat, this is what we call the adjoint method, when we need to finding the minor, cofactor, and so on. Next, we are going to look at the second method, which is the deduce method. So for the deduce method, no need to find the minor, cofactor, and also the determinant. We can straightforward based on the situation to find the inverse. So now we have the second method, what we call the deduce method. So it is different from the previous one, which is the adjoint method. So deduce method, find the inverse of the matrix P. So given the matrix P and Q, and then what we have to do is to find the matrix for PQ. So before we further our discussion, so do remember, we need to understand some of the properties for the matrix. For example, given matrix A, if we multiply with the inverse, so we will have the identity matrix. Second one, A inverse multiply with the matrix A. Again, we will obtain the identity matrix as well. Number 3, matrix A multiply with any identity matrix. So we will obtain A. Finally, I multiply with any matrix A and we will obtain the matrix A. So this is the basic properties that we need to memorize or understand. So let's move on to the left hand side. We have the matrix P multiply with the matrix Q. So previously, we already discussed in the question A. So PQ, which is equals to 3, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, 3. Next, when we have this thing, we can simplify the situation, become PQ is equals to 3 identity. Why we say 3 identity? Because in here, we can factor the 3 and we will obtain the identity matrix. That's why we said PQ is equals to 3I. Next, we are going to apply the deduce method. So in here, question asks us to find the inverse of P. So in order to find the inverse, try to make use of this situation, or we can say the properties. So these properties, what you have to do is to memorize it or try to understand it. So given the situation, PQ is equals to 3I. So kindly take note, we are very sensitive with, kindly take note, matrices are very sensitive with the order. So AB is not equals to BA. Same as well for this part, matrix P multiply with the matrix Q, the answer will be different for the matrix Q multiply with the matrix P. So order is important. So now the question asks us to find the P inverse. So our objective is to find the P inverse. So what we can do is to multiply the situation for both sides with the P inverse. So we have P inverse multiply with the PQ equals to, in here we have 3, because 3 is a scalar, it's not a matrix, so it doesn't matter for the order. So we only focus on the matrix. So for the left-hand side as well, P inverse multiply with the I. So the order is in the front of the situation. Same for both sides. Next, kindly refers to this part. We have A inverse multiply with the A, we will obtain identity matrix. So same goes to this part. P inverse multiply with the P, we will obtain I. So here we have IQ equals to 3P inverse I. Next, focus on the situation where we have this one. I multiply with A, any matrix A. So we will obtain the matrix A. So same for this part. I multiply with Q, we will obtain Q equals to 3. Focus on this part as well. P inverse multiply with the I, again we will obtain the P inverse. So question asks us to find the P inverse. So in here, the P inverse is equals to 1 over 3 multiply with the matrix Q. So that is what we call the deduce method. So kindly substitute the Q into the situation. So P inverse is equals to 1 over 3 matrix Q. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. So simplify or expand the situation. So P inverse is equals to, we have 1 over 3, 2 over 3, 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 2 over 3. So you may refer to the previous situation and you notice that the P inverse for the adjoint method is the same for the deduce method. So that is how we find the inverse matrix for P. So this is the second method. We call it deduce method.